Welcome to the channel another day. We're putting it down, like I say, 6 videos a week. I know I'm a little behind. You're getting about 2-3 tonight. You're getting the other 2s tomorrow. You're getting the 6 for this week, all right? And then we're hitting right next week running with it. So if you're here, please follow. Please subscribe, all right? TikTok follow. YouTube subscribe. We're going to get right into it. Let's get right into the video.
Have you seen this video?
How do you know that it's like Christianity's God? There's only one God. There's a very famous astronomer named Robert Jastrow. His credentials as a scientist are impeccable. And he said himself, being agnostic, he's not even a Christian. He said that all of the essential elements of the Big Bang Theory line up with biblical creation. Because this is how God works. God speaks something, and then science runs to catch up with what he said. Because science doesn't create anything. Science studies creation. Let me just answer a question that I always get. Who created God? What I say? Everything that came to be needs a cause. God didn't come to be. God is eternal. The way a lot of people thought the universe was until science disproved it. So God doesn't need a cause or a creator. He is the cause. Go look into it for yourself. Science is great. Evidence is great, and it's very much needed when it comes to seeking the truth. But let me tell y'all something. Evidence is not a substitute for faith. Following God is not a matter of evidence or proof. It's a matter of the will. You have to want to do it so you can have the peace that you're looking for. And if you don't want to make that choice, no amount of evidence is going to convince you to. You have to want to.
You know me, I'm going to tell the truth, the whole truth. Ain't nothing else to say. Like, she put it from A to Z on the whole God aspect from beginning to end. The Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end. Wow. The past, the future, the present, still to be. Hey, let's get to the next one.
What are we going to be?
Like when?
25 years from now. What are we going to be?
Well, assuming civilization is still around. It's looking fragile right now. I think we could have in 25 years, probably something. I would think like there could be a whole brain interface.
A whole brain interface.
Something pretty close to that, yeah.
How do you define? What do you mean by whole brain interface?
Like almost all the neurons are connected to the sort of AI extension of yourself, if you want.
AI extension of yourself.
Yeah.
Hold on. YouTube, this is for entertainment purposes. Did Elon just said in 25 years, if civilization's still around? If? He knows something I don't know. We need to find out what he knows. I'm just saying, if. And then the whole brain interface thing. That's a whole nother topic. Let's get to the next video.
Elon Musk wasn't the first person to invent the Neuralink.
I heard it was a rumor, but I didn't know who.
This was like 5-6 years ago, but they haven't seen him since. Like, they don't know where he went. Like, he just like disappeared. Him and his invention. It was a MIT student. It wasn't specifically a Neuralink, but it was like similar. Imagine a Neuralink that you could take off.
That's cheese.
It will connect to his ear and like on his chin. It hooks up to the internet, and he can send signals with his mind to the internet, and it'll come back to him in like frequencies. So like, I remember he did an interview, and the guy asked him, he was like, what's the population of like Bolivia? And he sent the message to the computer, and it came back, and he was like 45 million people. Like, he had a search engine in his head, and he could take it off. And then ever since he disappeared, that's when Elon Musk came out with the Neuralink, and he had a patent for it. So now it's his. Nobody
copyrighted that.
Bro, what if they off that, bro? Cause you know how many people had the idea stolen?
Yeah, so many people.
So
they
imagine,
say, what's his name, created the light bulb. They said it's not really cuz. They said it was...
They said it was a black man?
Yeah, it's a black man, low key.
Crazy, bro. You know,
You gotta think about it too. That's way easier. That's less control with the... It's not inside of
exactly. You could take it off.
On this, I really don't know what to say. But I can say, I don't know. Since you say he's missing, ain't no telling like if he's really missing. Maybe he sold it on the low, got a few $1 billion, and then went to some island, bought up the island, and start chilling. That's why you don't see or hear from him. No more public lifestyles getting his, living on. Maybe it's that. But if worse come to worse, we don't know. But it's crazy. It looks like it's pretty much close to being the same type of software.
You see this exit right here, bro? You see this, bro? Nope.
You see that exit in Detroit, you just keep driving, bro. You just keep driving. This not for the weak, bro. You got a gun on you, beam, extended clip, 30 clip on you. I'm trying to tell you. Hey, look, it go down in that hood, bro. Like, for real. You over there where? You where? You on Chalmers? Nah, bro. Hey, that whole area right there don't play, bro. I'm gonna be real. That's probably one of the worst exits in Detroit, bro. You gotta be smooth coming up right here, bro. You gotta be smooth coming over right here. Hey, shout out to everybody on the east side, though, man. It's all love, man. You know I love y'all, bro. Shout out to everybody in that hood, though. But if you ain't from around this way, boy, you don't know nobody over here in that hood, boy, you ain't from that way, just stay away from it. Don't go there. There's nothing there for you. Ain't nothing for you to see. I'm just telling you that right now. Ain't nothing for you to see, bro. Nope.
Yo, big dog, I want to tell you thank you. I'm not even going to Detroit, but at least you let me know. So I'm going to let these people know. You don't know from around there? Stay from around there. You better know somebody from around there. If not, I'm just saying. All right, let's get to the next
I was
video.
watching Boys in the Hood, and I was curious how much the homes were back then in those neighborhoods, because Trey's mom was a single mother and she had this house, and his dad was a single father and he had his own house, and Doughboy's mom was a single mother and she had her own house. And it's just difficult now to do that kind of thing. So I was curious what the home prices were back then and what they are now. Boys in the Hood was filmed in this neighborhood in South LA, and this house is in the same neighborhood as Trey and Doughboy's house. And it is $640,000. And in 1990, it was $100,000, which is 1 year before the movie came out. Here's another one in that neighborhood. It's $625,000. This is Doughboy's house, and it is $591,000 now. This is Trey's house, and it is now $619,400. And this is gentrification, right? And what I find so interesting is that Trey's dad, Furious, actually talked about their neighborhood being gentrified, possibly. And he was warning against gentrification of that neighborhood. And lo and behold, it happened to that neighborhood. Watch the clip.
Did you two knuckleheads come on? I want y'all to take a look at that sign up there. See what it says? Cash for your home. You know what that is? What are y'all, Amos and Andy? Are you stepping and he's fetching? I'm talking about the message, what it stands for. It's called gentrification. It's what happens when the property value of a certain area is brought down. Huh? You listening? Yeah. To bring the property value down. They can buy the land at a lower price, then they move all the people out, raise the property value, and sell it at a profit. Now what we need to do is we need to keep everything in our neighborhood, everything, black. Black owned with black money. Just like the Jews, the Italians, the Mexicans, and the Koreans do.
Ain't nobody from outside bringing down the property value. It's these folk shooting each other and selling that crack rock and shit.
Well, how you think the crack rock gets into the country? We don't own any planes. We don't own no ships. Well, we are not the people who are flying and floating that shit in here. I know every time you turn on the TV, that's what you see. Black people selling the rock, pushing the rock, pushing the rock. Yeah, I know. But that wasn't a problem as long as it was here. It wasn't a problem until it was in Iowa and it showed up on Wall Street where there are hardly any black people. Now, if you want to talk about guns, why is it that there's a gun shop on almost every corner in this community?
Why?
Tell you why. For the same reason that there's a liquor store on almost every corner in the black community. Why? They want us to kill ourselves. You go out to Beverly Hills, you don't see that shit. But they want us to kill ourselves. Yeah, the best way you can destroy a people, you take away their ability to reproduce themselves. Who is it that's dying out here on these streets every night? Y'all. Young brothers like yourself.
It's so interesting that Furious predicted the exact thing that was going to happen to that very neighborhood. It's also interesting that Christian evangelical kids were not allowed to watch this movie. I was not allowed to watch this movie because of the swearing or whatever, the language. But white evangelical Christians are exactly who needed to watch this movie. It's on Netflix right now. Watch it again because I haven't seen it in a long time and it gave me a new perspective that I didn't have before.
Back on those days, those houses were hella cheap. You know, you could have got it for the low. But back then, you know, the cost of living wasn't so much. Housing wasn't so much. Then again, you was getting paid more. You was able to do more. You was able to have a house and still make a car payment and still got pocket money to take your children out. Okay? Then that's the difference. Back in the good old days. When they say the good old days, they mean them good old days. Let's get to the next
Tell
video.
the story of gentrification in Atlanta without talking about East Lake Meadows, also known as Little Vietnam. East Lake Meadows went from a crime-ridden public housing community to a thriving gentrified neighborhood. As single-family home ownership became easier for white people and nearly impossible for black people, white communities fled to the suburbs. East Lake Meadows was constructed in 1969 as a public housing project where mostly white, affluent families lived. Initially, there were about 800 white residents and 9 black residents, all of who were employees of the development. When a black family moved in, white residents fled. Oftentimes, documentaries about East Lake Meadows place blame on residents for being unruly rather than how the government failed to do a poor job of explaining why these projects failed and weigh heavily on stereotypes and drug use and gun violence. An Atlanta developer named Tom Cousins developed interest in East Lake when it was on the brink of foreclosure. By 1995, crime was 18 times the national average. A declining golf club bordering the housing complex known as East Lake Golf Club came up for sale. Cousins and his family put up $25 million for one of the biggest redevelopment plans Atlanta had seen at the time. 100 corporate members of the golf course put up $200,000 each, totaling $20 million that would rebuild East Lake Meadows. In 1996, Atlanta bulldozed East Lake Meadows to make way for a new mixed income housing. Ironic, the Olympics took...
You see it, how they turn certain areas into the ghetto, into the PJs, right? And then they could come back around later on and then buy up those same areas and call it and say it is gentrification. All right, let's get to the next video.
About being in the streets, it ain't nothing to be happy about. But you gotta get
school like today here?
But shit, yeah. You gotta get how
it's crazy that you're going to school and I guess being shot at like that. In my mind, anyway, as a civilian, is crazy, bro. But I respect that you're still going to school and you're still in the... Well, I respect that you're in school, bro.
I ain't in the street.
Nah.
I ain't in the street that much. I be in the house. All this shit I went through, I just...
When you say all this shit you went through, bro, talk to me. So what did you go through?
I almost got my head right here. Almost got shot in the head. But he had pulled off. So shit.
But you nearly got shot in the head?
Yeah, the gun jammed.
Oh, talk me through the incident if you can speak on it. The gun jammed, what was happening?
Shit, we got in a little fight. And people, shit, out of nowhere, he just came up to my door. Pulled on my door. That bit open for a second. I'm looking at him, I'm just standing there, I ain't even move. I seen the gun and all. I was like, shit. In my head, I ain't even just thinking. I'm just sitting there looking at the nigga. But when he opened that bit, I had closed that bit. He pulled off. Shit. And he was waiting on us. Shit, when we tried to come back. So shit, we just sat there.
So this guy tried to shoot you in the head, but the gun jammed?
Yeah.
Now you see, God was on this brother's side. They try to wham brother in the head and the pew, you know what I mean? Like it jammed. So God was with him. But they're explaining to you how it came from turning the area into the PJs, like I'm saying, into the ghetto, and then you're seeing the results of it's going down, all right? Like it goes down, all the way down. This is just what society creates America. Let's get to the next video.
My name is Markia Harris. This is my son on this picture, Elijah Craven. He's 22 years old. My son was framed for a murder. He's currently serving time in a Texas prison in Amarillo, Texas. And, well, his lawyer withheld a lot of information on his case. He really didn't he had a court-appointed lawyer. He really didn't object to nothing. You know, he really didn't, help in my son's case like he was supposed to. He didn't bring out the evidence where the discovery package said that my son's fingerprints was never on the truck. He never brought out information saying that the text messages never came from my son's phone, even when the prosecutor was saying they did. He never objected to it. He never brought out the information showing that when the truck pulled up at the fast food restaurant before the murder happened, the guy stuck his hand out the window. And I was like, and I told the lawyer, I have a picture of my son a month before this incident happened. My son had a big tattoo on his hand. If that was my son in that truck driving it, you would have seen that tattoo. And the lawyer didn't even present none of that information or just or any information that would have helped my son within his case, like the passenger saying that my son wasn't there. Like, he never even brought none of that up. So, but we had a court-appointed lawyer. So my son was framed with a gun and a mask by a group of guys. And his lawyer didn't do much to help him, but he's currently serving time in the Texas prison system. He's waiting on his appeals to come through. He had an incident on August 22nd. He said ever since he got up in there, he have certain guards that have been picking at him and, handling him kind of crazy. They giving him a runaround about his medicine. He take high blood pressure medicine. He filled out grievances and stuff like that. And they will always say, oh, well, we didn't get him. We don't got him and stuff like that. And, he said, it's like, he's like they're in the panhandle. He said, so they're kind of real racist. They treat some of the blacks different from the other ones, so he said he was going through a lot of that up in there. But he had a situation with a guard that he was going to class. The guard wouldn't let him in the class, and he wouldn't roll the door back for him. And then he told my son, I guess when class is over with, well, why you didn't come to class? My son said, man, I know you ain't stupid. I know you seen me standing at the door. You didn't let me in. I couldn't get in. And the guard was like, I ain't stupid. You stupid. And my son was like, no, you stupid. And they got into an argument. And so my son called me and he was like, Mom, I just got into it with this, and him and the guard got into the argument. And so he called me and he was telling me about it. He was like, and after we was arguing, the guard was like, I'm about to show you, you about to see, I'm about to show you, just wait till I come back. I'm about to show you, you wait till I come back. When I come back, I'm finna show you. And so he was talking to my son like that. So, so I called, a little later on. My son never called me back. He said, Mom, I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call my uncle and my uncle know what's going on. He never called me back, so, and he never got the chance to talk to my brother, which is his uncle. And so this August 22nd. And so when this incident happened, I called like later on that night and I was explaining to the lady that answered with the switchboard. I told her what happened. She said, you can call in the morning and do a welfare check on him and stuff like that early in the morning. So I called and did a welfare check on him. I talked to the warden secretary and the family liaison. They did a welfare check on him. I told him the part of it, what he told me what happened and stuff like that. So so they did a welfare check on him. They said he was all right. She said his case was under investigation. And when they put the case under investigation, when you get into it with a guard, when you're having some issues, they put you on a wing where your case under investigation, they give you grievances, I-60s to fill out and stuff like that. So she said usually take 10 to 15 business days and stuff like that. Because I had to call her like 10. I was like, you told me it take 10, 15 days. It been 15 days. She said, oh no, business days. I still haven't heard from my son, but it's still like almost like a month later. And they did do a welfare check on him. They did a few on him because I've been calling because I want to make sure he's all right up in there. So, but yeah, it seemed like they didn't want to give me no information. After a while, they was like, well, we can't give you no information. He's on a wing where they don't have no phones and stuff like this. And it was like, we can't give you no information. You're not on his visitation list. I said, but I'm on his emergency contact. I'm his mother. And when he was at the Beto unit, I was on his visitation list, and why I'm not on there now, because I should be on there and stuff like that. So, and he had already filled out another one to get another one. So I don't understand why he's filling out grievances and this papers, and you give him a run around about his medicine before this incident end. Now you give him a run around about his visitation list, talking about there ain't never been one made. You know, and so, and I called and I talked to Huntsville and stuff like that. I called and I talked to Huntsville and stuff like that. So they I called and talked to Huntsville, which is where you make complaints at and stuff like that. I called and talked to them, and they was like, well, you know, and they sent me to this another switchboard, and they said it showed that it was never one ever made. It was never one in the computer. I called the other unit where he was at. They say it showed that it was never one made. And I say, I feel like they playing, because the lady told me it's computerized, so if I to just switch over, but it's showing that it was never one in there. And I said, I don't know why they doing like that. So I still haven't heard from him verbally and stuff, but they did a welfare check on him. I called last night, and Officer Navarro at his unit in Amarillo, he sounds so nice, seemed like a good person. You know, he didn't give me no hard time or nothing. You know, he did a welfare check on my son. I called like 1 something in the morning and stuff like that. So I was checking on my child, on my son. He's not my child, but he's my 22-year-old. He's still my baby. You know, I just want to say, if you're dealing with the Texas prisons, sometimes depending on your situation, I think in every situation you might want to get a lawyer to back you up and all that kind of stuff like that. And I'm just telling my situation, what I was going through, you know, and then them not giving me no information because the visitation list, you know, and really limited on who I can talk to and stuff like that, especially about his situation and just being concerned about his safety and his welfare. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that, and, you know, I hope y'all have a great day.
Now, what you're hearing right there is a mother's concern about her son. But like she's saying, it's not a thing about did he do it, didn't he do it, or whatever he did, like the unaliving. It's about getting the proper defense, because it could be you could have committed an unaliving while you defending yourself. Okay, you're still gonna be charged with whatever, but your defense would be that this. But because your lawyer don't do no objection in certain things, when it's time for you to go on appeal, it's even harder for you to try to reverse certain things or to get certain loopholes to get like less time or give some time back because the lawyer didn't object. So that means everything that he didn't object or she didn't object to becomes law. That means you agreed on, even though it was true or not. And remember, when you're in court, you don't even have a mouthpiece. All right, let's go to the next one.
Now he's gone. We don't do it.
That boy took off like he run track, all right? He was zigzagging the cop. Or maybe like he played football, like, you know, like, shaking him. Like he had him. They couldn't keep up with him. Let's get with the next video.
I have to ask you to leave. I wish the judge would give you forever.
Don't laugh at man.
23-year-old Jamiko Hayden is entering a plea on charges of manslaughter, receiving stolen property, possession of a handgun by a felon, and other charges. 3.5 years earlier, 19-year-old Christian Gwynn was walking home with a friend when police say a red sedan pulled up and Hayden allegedly began firing a gun at them. Christian was shot twice and died later that night at the hospital. Police had few leads other than the red sedan. The car turned out to be stolen, and it took investigators almost 2 years after receiving some cooperation from members of the community before they had enough evidence to arrest Hayden. Hayden was charged and held on $500,000 bond. Today, Hayden appears before Judge Susan Schultz Gibson to enter his plea and hear his sentence. Sitting just feet away from the defendant are Christian's parents and his sister. And before sentence is imposed, the 3 family members come forward to deliver impact statements, with Christian's father directly facing the defendant.
You killed my son, Christian Gwynn. You took a son away from his father and a brother away from his siblings. And for that, you will never be forgiven. You think you tough, but for real, you a coward and you a disappointment to your family and people out here in the community.
Is it funny, bro? Is it funny?
Sir, you're...
Is it funny? You want to crack a smile, man?
Hayden seems to have smirked during the statement, which did not sit well with Christian's father.
You want to crack a smile,
I'm
bro?
gonna have to ask you to leave. I wish the judge would give you forever.
Don't laugh at man.
I wish you would get forever for taking away my son. Don't say nothing.
Now, what he did was wrong, all right? What he did was wrong. Did he crap, like, even on aliving, he did everything he did was wrong. Did he undo the, like, the smiling, the crackers and smile? I didn't see it. When the camera was on him, I didn't see it, but maybe he did, maybe he didn't, I don't know. You know, but then again, you're dealing with the loss of your child and everything like that, so I know that the dad was hot. Any little thing, he's ready to jump over at him, all right? So, really, it's just a sad case. I know the way you're seeing this video is just going down in the storyline where it comes from getting pushed into here and getting pushed down to situation of what's happening, and every day society act like it's normal. It's in music, it's in this, it's in that, like everything is normal. Let's continue with the next
Rest
video.
in peace and much condolence to the family and friends. Do y'all see how people think, man? She broke up with him, so he came back later on and killed her in her sleep, broke in her house, shot her new boyfriend, and this other girl helped him get away.
Police said that Jackson and her boyfriend were laying in the bed before her ex-fiance allegedly broke into her home and shots rang out. Sadly, she was hit multiple times. Her boyfriend was also injured.
Yeah, my heart goes out to the family. It's very sad. It's very sad that a young man like that is gonna go out like that. Like, you're gonna take your ex-girlfriend's life and her boyfriend's life, and then the craziest part is another girl, probably his new girlfriend, helps him get away. Come on, y'all gotta sit back and look at this. This dude's going to unalive another woman, and you're a woman, and you're going to help him do that and put yourself at risk. I'm just saying, the risk levels nowadays, people are not weighing the pros and cons to what's going on. It's kind of like, I get it. And I also give the fault to some of them brothers, because, you know, some of them ladies, they be doing things to them brothers, and them brothers, you know, they be tender meat. You know what I mean? Yeah, that meat be like tender. And then them the boys are cross-eyed, you get what I mean, and lose their mind. Let's get with the next video.
Now the late teen's parents have been awarded $310 million from a jury who found the company that made the ride liable.
It was a bittersweet moment. The judgment was fair.
Tyree stood 6'5" and weighed 380 pounds. The family's attorney, Ben Crump, says height and weight restrictions were ignored at the park in Orlando. In the video of Tyree on the ride, which was played in court, you can see how he was struggling to fit in the seat.
Why didn't they have a seatbelt? It would only cost $22.
The company that manufactured the ride is located in Austria, and they didn't send a single representative to appear in court. The late teen's family sees that as a slap in the face.
They should have came and at least said, hey, we're sorry, we apologize, what can we do to make this thing better?
Tyree was a straight-A student and football standout. On the stand, his mother broke down describing what might have been.
He wouldn't give him a chance to live. He wouldn't even give him a chance to do anything. They robbed me, they robbed him, they robbed us.
7 months after the accident, the amusement park tore down the ride.
It's very messed up how this amusement park didn't have any seat belts, all right? And then they didn't have no height requirement, no weight requirement. They didn't have any safety in place. And then they didn't even send like a representative to speak to the parents, like they say, like they felt like that was a slap in the face. But 310 million, that's pretty decent bread, right? Because you're gonna look at the lawyers taking at least what 30%, 35%. It depends on what their fees are and contingencies. So still got 200 million to yourself. You off pretty decent. And then off that 200 million, you're gonna have to pay your taxes. Take another 35% off that. Yeah, you might be left with a good 150. Good living. Good living. You can't complain. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you lost a kid. You could never get your kid back. You see what I'm saying? Like the memories, the loss. You gonna have to deal with that forever. The missing them. You know what I'm saying? And the wealth does not bring that child back. Trust me, it doesn't. All right, I can't imagine going through that. All right. Thank you for being here. If you last this long, that means you rode the whole trip with me. All right. So we do 6 videos a week. After this, I got to record others and put them all out. I will bombard you with videos in the night. Okay. So until next time. So please subscribe, like, share, comment, spam up the box. All right. Ask any question. I'll get right back with y'all. Until next time.